Eddy Blanco here. I'm here with Davina Potratz, realtor extraordinaire, broker, model, and star of Selling Sunset. Thank you, Davina, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And I know you come from a different background. Some of the girls were actresses or have that actressing background, but you didn't. You were like really real estate, right? I mean, you did some modeling and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I did pretty serious modeling with Ford Models. I did all the runway stuff and everything, but modeling's very different than acting or any kind of TV hosting type of stuff or anything like that. And so I never wanted to be an actress. I just wanted to be myself. And so I was interested in hosting, but I never did, acting. I'm part Native American, so I got a lot of great auditions for acting roles, but it just wasn't my passion to act. So I think it's fun, but I do think it's quite difficult. It can be, it seems quite difficult in my mind. Like it's definitely a skill. You have to be very aware of your tone. And it's a totally different skill set. So I was not well versed in acting at all.
Right. And I had no idea. I didn't know if you guys were, is this real, is this staged? And I kind of did a little research. I know a couple of them. I know Prichelle, she was on a soap opera before at one time, correct?
Yeah, she was. And I forgot which one, but she did soap opera acting. And I think she was like guest star. I'm not really sure, but she did a lot of that. And then Christine did as well. She did a lot of small roles in movies.
And those two, it makes total sense that they have the actress background because they played me. They played a lot of the audience. I'm sure a lot of people still love both those agents. But yeah, I was total team Chriselle from day one. And I kind of saw things like, I don't know how I feel now. And I don't know, maybe it's what they want us to see. You might see something different, but I kind of feel like she wasn't all the time. I hate to say anything because I know she has so many people who love her, and I don't want them to hate me for. But
see, now you're falling for the same thing, and I don't want to discourage or encourage anybody to like or not like anyone. I support everyone on my cast, but it is presented to you to root for her, especially in the early seasons, right? She hits a lot of the very storylines that make you feel very compassionate for her and relate to her, and you kind of follow her story through her journey through real estate and whatnot. So I think that's how it's designed, and now you see a little more.
Right. And I think the first sign was when she was talking about the Mary and Romaine thing with you, and you were so upfront. You admitted your part. She kind of backpedaled and didn't want to admit it. And when you guys by yourself, she's like, well, why'd you put me on the spot? And you were like, I just owned up. You just owned up to it. So I had a lot of respect for you at that point. I was like, okay, this girl, she's real as they come here.
Oh, thank you for noticing that. That's a more of a subtle scene that not a lot of people notice. And I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.
And I think I'm kind of looking at it from a different way. I'm like not into the soap opera part of it. I kind of think, okay, how would I handle this in this situation? And at first I was like, I don't know why Jason or Brett's not getting involved in stopping this. But when I take a look back, I was like, you know what? They're probably smart for not getting involved in certain things because they're successful for a reason. So they must be doing something right. But I don't know if I would let the brokerage go that wild. But what was your feelings being in the brokerage and letting things go on as they were?
What are my feelings about that?
Yeah, how did you feel in the moment? Like,
interesting question. Well, I would agree with you. However, they are obviously all of us are aware we're filming a TV show, and clearly the producers are some of the best in the game, and they had a very clear vision and focus on what they wanted, which was the drama, and that is what sells TV shows. I mean, we are real estate agents. We're not executive producers, so we don't know how this works, what sells, but the producers did or do, so they wanted to focus on this drama and kind of told us to trust them, and this is what they do. And so we all did. We surrendered to their vision, and if they wanted to focus on a storyline or on a story that happened in the moment, then we did that. And the brokers, I mean, like Jason and Brett, basically they're taking a back seat because this is their brokerage, but the TV show focuses on drama. So they're letting that happen. So it's not really happening in the business as far as like a transaction. And if it was a transaction, they would be getting much more involved. But because we're focusing on a creative project here, they are allowing that to unfold for the TV show purposes. And it doesn't make it fake at all. A lot of this drama is definitely real. Maybe it was a little bit, focused on or exaggerated for the show, but it was real. And they kind of just let it happen for the sake of the show.
Right. Totally makes sense. I'm sure they'd have a lot less viewers if they did step in every time there was some kind of conflict.
Right. Well, exactly. And for them as the owners of the company, it makes sense to be in the background because they don't want to take a strong position unless it's something really extreme. But I don't think they want to take a strong position for or against any of their cast because that could then affect the brokers. So I think they want to try to stay as neutral as possible, as all of us want to. But unfortunately, that doesn't sell TV shows. So Brett is so no nonsense. I mean, he is very direct, as is Jason, by the way. But Brett's actually really funny, and he's very gregarious, and he loves to have a good time and relax and have fun and, not be super crazy. He is driven, but he's not as driven as Jason. So I would say
Interesting.
Jason is a little more driven in general, and Brett is too, but not as much. And he just loves to have a good time, and he's very funny. And Jason's funny too, but he's a little more, I guess, a little more like subtle or not as bold about being funny.
Right.
So it's funny that you think he's more serious because he's actually the more like, friendly, outgoing, funny one. It's just funny how editing twists or presents people, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's so crazy, but it's really good to hear that insight. I was like so shocked because Christine, she was really pushing them pretty hard right before she left the brokerage. I was like, I think they're going to get rid of her, but she ended up leaving on her own from what we saw. But I was like, I don't know how they're not getting involved at this point because she like went out and talked about she's sleeping with the boss. She's getting the leads because of this, and she
In
was.
reference to Chriselle?
Yes,
I mean, but to be fair, they were dating. So I mean,
yes, they were. Like I said, I do believe
so
that too. And
oh
then,
no, they actually were dating as confirmed. So I mean,
oh
like,
wow,
yeah, I mean, Chriselle and Jason were dating. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's on the TV show. Everybody knows
and
that.
I seen that, but that was a real thing. That wasn't like
Yeah,
staged.
yeah. No, that was a real thing. Yeah. So I mean, what Christine said might have been brash and bold and I guess rude, but
Right.
it wasn't untrue.
And Christine gets a bad rap, and she did do some things for sure. But looking back, I think she generally really liked you. I don't know
Yeah,
how you guys' relationship is now, but for a bit, she really did like you, and she did. I saw her stand up for you a few
I
times
know. I know.
with Chriselle when she tried to backpedal, when she stepped in, and when Mary tried to say, "Don't let anybody, don't tell Davina," and she didn't say she wasn't going to tell. She never said she wasn't going to tell you, and she did. And I don't blame her. I was a friend to anybody. I think I wouldn't want the whole office to know something they wouldn't know either. So there was some good parts of Christine. She has some good in her, I think.
100%. There's so much more that goes on behind the scenes that we can't
I'm sure.
necessarily get into, but there's so much that goes on between all of us behind the scenes. And we were at that point very real friends and truly had each other's back. And that is why we were a powerful combination of two people on this show because we were authentic friends, and authenticity is very powerful. And maybe they don't like my delivery and my tone and all of that, but we were real friends. And, maybe I don't agree with every single thing she did, and I don't. But she was still my friend, and I'm very loyal, and she had my back too. And there's lots of crazy things that happened and that she did too and all of that. But she was my real friend. And then, yeah, a few things happened. She didn't like that Emma and I became close. because she had a history with Emma, and I didn't know her, and Emma was very nice to me, and we became very good friends. And I said, well, she hasn't done anything to me, so I don't see why I shouldn't be friends with her, and she's very sweet to me. And I became close to Emma, and I was also so close to Christine, but she didn't really, she didn't agree with that, and I didn't understand why at the time. And then Chelsea joined, and Christine didn't really know her very well, and Christine and I were very, very close. I mean, we really know each other well, and that's when we started sort of falling apart, and that was in season 5. And then we didn't really have each other's back anymore, and I was never going to hurt her, but I wasn't going to, completely defend her anymore either. And then I realized that Emma wasn't a real friend, and I was like, wow, damn, Christine was actually right. And so when she was no longer there, then she reached out a few times, and she said some nasty things about me on the show, and she reached out and apologized, and we made up, and we were very close once again.
That's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. But it saddens me that a fake person that came in between us to separate us, to take away our power on the show. And it's okay. It's all for the best. But it was interesting to see that. Yeah.
Right. And Christine, she's has such a strong personality from what we see on the show. And just for her to even stand up for I think you're the only one she might have stood up for.
I know.
On the show. So I knew there had to be something really genuine there. And I think if she said anything negative, I think she was hurt or jealous that you were having other friends. But I could see the connection. She definitely had your back. And I was like, wow, she really did like Davina.
100%. And again, like, I think, I wish everyone well on the show. I hope they all do well. But I know for a fact that some of these relationships are not necessarily the most authentic. And of course, everyone wants to be friends with the star and be on the winning side and everything. And that's all fine, no problem with that. But I don't know, I want authentic friendships. I want authentic people and connections in my life. And sure, everyone can be a little bit fake, but to be at that extreme is just not who I am. And also the thing is, a lot of people ask, why are you not on the show? I don't really know why, but I think they wanted some of my very straightforward comments, and some other castmates like Maya as well, who's a really good friend of mine as well. And the reason some of us don't want to be as outspoken is because they don't show a balanced mix of our personality, because there's a lot more to us, especially, for example, real estate sales. I mean, I've never been shown selling a house on the show, so it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, I have more experience than the majority of the girls. And they don't show much of like a happy, funny, smiling side of me. People were shocked I go to Burning Man. I mean, like, they didn't even know it's from Germany. They had no idea I speak German. So it's like, these are all things that should have been shown in 6 seasons, right?
And speaking of Burning Man, you had the best comeback of the show when Chriselle tried to say, oh, well, you missed the when they were helping the needy. And she asked you how much you spent on that ticket. Oh, your response was so quick. And I was like, I don't know if that was staged, because she came back really quick with a dress comment. I was like, that was the best comeback. And she had no response for it. She was like, well, yeah.
Well, the irony is that I had been working for that charity, Food on Foot, since 2014, and I didn't post about it or have cameras there, and it's okay, it's all fine, no problem. But so to then try to shade me for going to a festival instead that was planned for months in advance. I mean, it takes a lot of planning to go to Burning Man, and then they obviously filmed the charity event, which is done for cameras. So I'm not saying it was inauthentic, but it's convenient. And then to try to make me look bad when these people spend thousands on glam is just kind of ridiculous to me. So that's why I said that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, was that retaken, or you came up with it right then and there?
No, I came up with it on the spot. I was so sick of being pushed around and tried to be, oh yeah, do this and that. I was like, you know what? You guys are so full of it. I was like, meanwhile, you're spending thousands on all these dresses, but you want to be in this, charity stuff. I'm like, please, stop with the pretending.
I love that. That was probably my favorite part of the show. I was like, wow, that was a good cut. That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they want more of that, I think, the producers, and I understand that, and that is part of my personality as well. But no one is going to be that outspoken if they don't have an ally on the show. You're not going to be,
Absolutely.
the singled out person making really bold comments if you have no friend. And that's kind of the position that Nicole is in now. And I think it's very difficult for her.
I'm glad you mentioned Nicole. She is one of the reasons I'm like, you know what? I kind of really am not. I'm kind of anti Chriselle right now because I feel like they're picking on Nicole, and I don't think Nicole's really doing anything really. I think she's trying to get along, and I think they're just really giving her a hard time. But that's how it's perceived, how I'm seeing it from the show anyway.
Yeah. Look, it's tricky. What she said is true. It's also old. And I'm friendly with Nicole. We're not best friends, but I am friends with her. I think she's nice. I've never had an issue with her. But we're not very close. But what she said was true. However, it was an old story. And bottom line is that I think I saw with my own eyes that it's like 10-1. It's like literally 10 people to 1. And that's the kind of
Yeah,
stuff that
right.
I'm not cool with. It's like it is extremely difficult and stressful to have, 5 cameras around, all these people watching you, and literally 10 girls that are ready to pounce coming at you, and you're supposed to make bold comments. That's exactly why she's struggling. That's why I was like, well, I'm not going to make sassy, crazy comments if I'm out here by myself with no Maya, no Christine,
Smart.
no other friend that I'm really close to. It's like, why would I do that? That's like suicide.
Yeah, poor thing.
And
It's like bullying.
it is bullying. It actually is bullying. And I was like, Chelsea's birthday, and it was heartbreaking. She left there crying, and some of these comments are really unnecessary. They're below the belt. And I don't think some of these people should be talking. It's like, she rearranged her face. I mean, half the cast did. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's cool to say. And that was really unnecessary and hurtful. And I remember being crucified for saying there's 2 sides to every story, but it's okay to say you rearrange
Yes.
your face. I mean, that's like, that's another level. So, um, I don't know. I just don't like the bullying, and it's one thing for one person to make that comment, but then the rest of the girls are all backing that person up. Is just like, do you guys see what's happening here? You're literally intimidating someone. You're literally beating them into submission verbally. It's just
Right.
very difficult for Nicole, and whether you support her or not, she's really struggling. And at the same time, she signed up like we all did. Here we are. And that's part of the deal, but it's difficult to watch.
Yeah, I felt really bad for Nicole even watching it, and it's funny because I'm in a selling some set a group to find out when the new season comes out, and like everyone's against Nicole. Like they manipulate people to make them think what they want. It's like, what did she really do? I mean, even if she made mistakes, she's trying to apologize. She has apologized. I don't see why they pick on her. Maybe it's something that
Yeah,
they won't
I
show
mean,
them.
I don't think the apology, I don't think they really want the apology to be accepted. It doesn't look like it. And I think even at the reunion, people are mocking her. It's just so
Right, right,
disrespectful. And it's like, at this point, what do you expect her to do? What do you even want her to do? It's just a really tricky place to be. And, I don't agree with everything she did either. Let's,
right,
be
right.
fair here. I don't agree with everything she did. So I'm not, saying the other girls are all bad or wrong, but it's just too much. And she's just really struggling with it, and she's new to the show.
Right.
And I think it's tough for her, yeah.
And she does. I think I caught a clip where they said she is one of the top sales. Is that true or not true?
Yeah, she's one of the top agents. She definitely has a lot of experience. She's professional for sure. It's just tough when it's the whole cast against you, and she walks into any event or into the office and no one acknowledges her, no one says hi. I mean, you're just being outcast. So, um, how much more is she gonna be able to take that and be outspoken and cause problems and say things? It's like after that experience, you probably don't want to speak up much.
Yeah, that's a hostile work environment. Like something like
Yeah.
that,
Well,
Brett or Jason, I would take. You know what? You don't have to be friendly with her, but you can't pick on her. I felt bad at that point.
Well, Brett did speak up, and then that's what I mean. Like
Right.
he did say, "Hey, you guys, like she's not a evil person," it's just, this is crazy. I mean, she wouldn't even be here if she was. And but that is part of the experience of being on the show as well. People don't really defend you at all, um, which is why I valued Maya and Christine so much, because they did actually defend and speak up in interviews on the show. And
Right.
they all know who I am. They all know, who their other members of the cast are, and more or less their type of personality. And nobody defends. So I didn't forget that either.
Yeah, I think you definitely have a stronger personality than like the Nicole situation. When you went up to Romaine, I was like, whoa, she's going into the fire here, and you
Oh,
didn't
he's
back
not. He's
down.
nothing to me. I mean, to me, he is not scary. Like, that's nothing to me. I thought he was so disrespectful,
So
especially
did
as
I.
a man,
Right.
extraordinarily disrespectful, and not in control of his emotions. And the fact that he was so reactive to what I said kind of proved my point. And he was probably embarrassed and ashamed, and I might have hurt his ego, and that's why he was so reactive. That's my opinion. And it just showed um, immaturity in my mind that he was so reactive.
Yeah, you hit it right, the nail on the head. I think he did feel a certain way about it. I think he kind of um, felt sensitive about the subject, but I think he could have still relayed that without like attacking you like he did, because he's a man,
Mhm.
you're a woman. I was like, this is not
Exactly.
cool, right? Because you didn't come at him
Honest to God,
negatively.
I was actually physically afraid when I was sitting there, and I was shaking, and I was like, he was so angry
Yeah,
that I was like, should I be afraid that he's gonna lash out? Like, I don't know, and I don't think he would, but I was afraid. And it was not cool. Like, it was not okay. And the fact that people thought that was acceptable of him to act like that, I was like, wow, this is actually ridiculous. And honestly, all he had to say was, our relationship is based on love. Whatever ring is none of your business,
right.
and it's just our thing. And I don't really care what you think. I don't want you at my wedding, and have a nice life, whatever. But to be so reactive was very revealing about how much I actually got to him.
Absolutely. And I was like, I hope they have security somewhere around. Like, why is nobody going over there? Or maybe it's staged this way. But I was like, he looks very upset, like aggressively upset.
I know he was. And again, there's more to the story, and I don't want to offend anybody, then so I'm not going to share about it. But there's more to the story, and I was actually, honest to God, coming from a place of like defending Mary, and I was like,
Me
why
too.
are these things happening behind the scenes? Like, she deserves more. And I just didn't trust his intentions. Now, I was wrong. It all worked out with
Right,
them.
right.
I'm happy for her and him. That's all great. God bless. But at the time, I really questioned his intentions. I was coming from a good place for her, because I was like, she deserves more than some of these things that have happened. And so I was just simply questioning the intentions, not the price of a ring. I don't really care. Do whatever you want. But my other thing too is, like, if you don't have the money for a diamond or a ring or whatever it is, then whatever, it could be a lollipop ring, but
Right.
then own it and make it about that. Don't be a wannabe, is my
Absolutely.
point. Don't be a wannabe in any area. Actually own the position you're in and be like, it doesn't matter. We don't even need rings. So that's really what it comes down to. But
That's a great
anyway.
attitude. That's a really great attitude you got. And Mary's another. I was like Team Mary up until she got that manager position, and she did not want to get involved in the Nicole Chriselle situation. And I
Yeah.
kind of think I know why, because she was like best friends with both. And but that's what, like, okay, she should not definitely not be in that position.
Well, no one wants to defend the villain, right?
Right,
So
exactly, right.
yeah.
Like, unless it was Christine, somehow they didn't want to defend her either. And as bad as they made her look, if you go back and really look at it, she wasn't bad on everything. Like, I could see her point on certain things.
Christine is a great entertainer, and she's very funny,
Yeah, yeah,
and she's smart. And so she can take risks and, be outspoken and do some crazy stuff for sure, but she's really fun to watch on camera, and I think she was in command and aware of her entertainment kind of skill.
now, Miss Davina, I watched the show, and you seem like you know your stuff, that you're professional, and I'm sure you're a great real estate agent. And I never once saw Jason or Brett give you any clients or anything like that, any listings.
Yep.
I am surprised that the only one they showed us is that $75 million home. I wish they would have showed you in other houses as well, other listings, because I know you're probably doing just as good as these other girls out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes on behind the
And
scenes
I'm
that
sure the one
I can't
listing
get into it.
right, and the one listing probably everyone does remember is that one listing.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, there's just more that I can't share, but yeah, that is the storyline that was focused on for sure.
So how's your life now, Davina, after the Selling Sunset, after getting in there? When did you realize, hey, people know me outside of real estate? This is I can't go to the store without being recognized anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just gradually been going for a while here. It's great. I love it. People are really friendly. A lot of people recognize me all over the place in the most random
Right.
locations. So fun. I love all the fans, and it's really fun. I mean, it's definitely fun. Sometimes you just want to slip in somewhere secretly and not be recognized, but overall, it's very enjoyable, and people are really nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I was trying to look at some of your other interviews, and there was like Davina at the post office. I was like, what is this guy next to her just like recording her at the post
That
office?
was really
It
bizarre.
was
Yeah, I
so
was actually on
weird.
my way to the doctor's office, and I was just trying to pick up a Easter package I think my mom had sent from Germany. And so I was, went to the grocery store, then walked over to the post office to pick up this package, just minding my business, trying to pay for some stamps and pick up this package. And yeah, that was really weird. The only person that probably could have done that is maybe one of the post office employees. I don't know, or maybe
Wow.
because I would have seen someone
Right.
next to me with the camera out, right? So that was a little weird. Pretty eerie. I had to make sure my credit card number was not visible on there. That was very sketchy. So you just never know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I started thinking at that point. I started thinking, it's probably really great to be known. Everyone knows you're a great realtor with a great brokerage. But the flip side, you probably get so many people who just want to meet Davina. Said, "Hey, can you show me a house?" I mean, I definitely would ask for proof of funds on everybody who tries to see a house with you.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure. That's what we do with everybody. And also people think you only deal with like, $100 million houses. So
Right.
it's like that's the other weird thing. But yeah, I mean, you have to assume people recognize you or whatever. But I mean, I'm also not, I don't know, some Oscar winning actor. So it's all fine. People are really nice. And it's an honor to be involved and even be here. So I am grateful and appreciate it all.
Now, as a broker, Davina, have you ever thought about branching out and doing your own thing?
Sure. Yeah, I've definitely thought of that. I'm focusing on a few creative projects and
Oh,
might be doing some real estate in Miami. So I'm getting a license in Florida. Um, so yeah, I mean, lots of other things going on. I don't necessarily want to focus on having a brokerage. It's a lot, as you know, and a
right.
lot is involved. But yeah, I mean, definitely continuing to work in real estate.
And I do see you're into fitness. That's like I started in the fitness background. I was like, hey, she is into fitness. I knew you guys all probably worked out, but when I started looking at your Instagram, I was like, this has to be a lifestyle for you. Do
Oh, for sure.
fitness.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right.
I really love working out and fitness in general, just optimizing, living your best life. But um, I was always into sports, even in school and stuff. I was always played volleyball, indoor volleyball, and track and field and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I just think it's also for mental health as well, just to get out of your mind. Like I notice if I don't work out for a few days, I get really kind of antsy and uncomfortable. So I think it's amazing for not only your health and to look your best, but also just for mental health. So I love working out. Eddie, so
Anything.
sorry, I have to run. I have
Okay.
another call in a few minutes. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you, Davina. Thank you for watching. I hope you loved the video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll do my best to bring you some more great content.